Breaking news, the U.S. Supreme Court throws out a ban on bump stocks for guns. Those are the devices that allow semi-automatic rifles to fire more quickly.
And it could be the hottest day so far this year, already in the upper 80s in the Triangle down toward Fayetteville. I'll show you how high the temperature climbs coming up.
It is cut day at the U.S. Open, and if you don't make the cut, your chances and hopes of winning our nation's championship are over. I'm pretty sure, speaking of cuts, saw a lot of people cutting out of work early on this Friday to get out here and catch some golf. Good afternoon to you. I'm Jeff Hogan.
And I'm Chris Lovingood here with Michelle McConaughey. And Jeff, you're not really at work today. You're enjoying your time out there. You'll never work a day in your life if you do what you love. And it's your birthday of all days, so it's a cool assignment that he has there.
The perfect assignment for Jeff on his birthday. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll head back out to Pinehurst #2 for our coverage of the 124th U.S. Open in just a minute. But first, we have to get a check of our forecast. And Amy, there's another hot day ahead for round 2.
Yes, absolutely. I'm sure Jeff is sweating. Temperatures are in the upper 80s right now in Pinehurst. It's 87 degrees with sunny skies, a beautiful blue sky. Look at all the people out here, but they are going to have to deal with the heat today. We're now at the heat index at 90 in the Triangle. It feels like 90 in Fayetteville as well. Feels like 88 in Southern Pines. So it's already very, very warm, and temperatures will continue to rise for the next few hours. A look at the hour-by-hour forecast for today. We'll get up to around 94 degrees for the high temperature, and that would be the hottest we've had so far this year. So some big heat today, but we do have a cold front that could bring us a little bit of a relief from the heat over the upcoming weekend. Right now, the cold front's still well to the north and west of us. We continue to monitor the tropics as well. We have a low pressure system that's about 120 miles away from the North Carolina coast. It's making its closest pass to the coast today, but we'll still have some impacts through the weekend. Today, we have a high rip current risk from around Cape Lookout to Hatteras. Everywhere else, almost everywhere else, under a moderate rip current risk. Coming up in about 15 minutes, we'll take a look at the beach forecast for the upcoming weekend.
All right, sounds good, Amy. Thank you. It is day 2, round 2 at the 124th U.S. Open at Pinehurst, and fans have been showing up for hours. They're bracing the heat to catch a glimpse of some of the best golfers that you're ever going to see.
Yeah, the golfers and the heat is all part of the fan experience. WRAL's Jeff Hogan is live from Pinehurst #2. Jeff, you have been out there all morning long. Set the scene for us. What's the energy like there?
Well, it's an electric scene for sure. You can hear the cheers from across this golf course, and I'm pretty far away from where actual play is right now. As you take a look, yeah, tournament officials expected that the attendance would rise each day out here, along with the temperatures, and they are definitely not wrong about what is happening out here. As we see these folks right here, fans out in droves, they are on the move. They are looking for their favorite players. Hopefully, they're looking for some shade as well. I spoke with a retired teacher who worked security here 25 years ago when Payne Stewart won.
I worked in the golf tournament as a security guard.
Tough teacher.
Yes, well, middle school, so you got to be tough.
Understood.
So that I guess that's why they let me be a security guard. But and after you finished your work, you could go and watch a little bit of the golf. So that's what I did. I got to see Tiger Woods back then.
Yeah, and this is her first tournament back since 1999, and she is having a blast. Not even sure where she's going to go, didn't care, just headed out there. Heidi Kirk was also out there, and she said that 250,000 people over this week are expected to be out at this tournament. A lot of them arriving today in time for the weekend, of course, lots of travel involved. But what Heidi Kirk found out is this is an experience, especially with Father's Day weekend coming, that can bring families together.
Thousands of fans are pouring into the U.S. Open for the second day here in Pinehurst. You'll see crowds of people coming in, everyone excited to watch some golf. And one thing that we've noticed is that many of the people coming here have generations of their family excited to watch the U.S. Open for the first or second time. It's not Scott Frank's first rodeo at the U.S. Open.
I went, I think, 1998 with a friend in college, and we only went to the practice rounds.
This time around, he's all in, and he's brought the family.
It's going to be my son, my dad, and I today, and then tomorrow it's going to be my brother and my dad.
3 generations of golf lovers from Raleigh. And they aren't the only ones coming together with family in Pinehurst this weekend.
Yeah, I'm home for the summer from college. I actually play golf at UVA.
While some college students wouldn't opt to spend summer break at home with family, there's no place Amanda Sambach would rather be.
Just to have this and come out with them, it's just a whole level of extra fun.
Sambach calls Pinehurst home, but others had to take a flight to get here. For Dave Osgood, it's one of the players who brought him out. His godson is currently out on the greens playing in the tournament.
I've known his family since he was literally in diapers.
And now he's here to cheer him on in the stands.
Pretty good round yesterday. He was 1 over. So he needs to keep it up to make it the weekend.
A big weekend for families across the course.
We've found there are no limits for where these fans are coming here from the West Coast to the East Coast to everywhere in between, all coming here for the golf tournament. Heidi Kirk, WRAL News, Pinehurst.
Of course, we remember another family that we spoke to right here yesterday before his first round, Wake Forest family of Akshay Bhatia. They are out here again. He is on the course right now, and when we come back in just a few minutes, I'm going to update his progress out there in his second round. Michelle?
All right, thank you, Jeff. And WRAL is your home for the U.S. Open. Be sure to tune into WRAL for all the action from the first tee to the 18th green. Network coverage is today with the second round. Jeff Hogan, Gerald Owens are leading our coverage on WRAL. They are live from Pinehurst number 2. You can get all of our content on your phone, tablet, and TV.
Happening now in the WRAL Live Center, the U.S. Supreme Court striking down a federal ban on bump stocks. Justice Clarence Thomas wrote the opinion for the 63 decision. The court's liberal wing, led by Justice Sonia Sotomayor, dissented. The ban was put in place under the Trump administration in response to the 2017 mass shooting in Las Vegas that killed 58 people during an outdoor music festival. A bump stock is a device that allows a semi-automatic rifle to fire more rapidly. Now, observers believe this case shows that the High Court is siding with gun rights advocates, gun control groups, calling the decision shameful. In a rare move, Justice Sonia Sotomayor read her dissenting opinion from the bench.
That's a big update. Thank you, Ken. Demolition of a high school building that was the site of 17 murders in Parkland, Florida is finally underway. Work was postponed yesterday because of bad weather. A gunman murdered 14 students and 3 faculty members at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in 2018. The building was preserved during the trials of the shooter and the resource officer who remained outside during the shooting.
So we all know that this is one more step in our healing process. And it's important that, 6 years later, that this building comes down.
Demolition is expected to take several weeks. The shooter is serving a life in prison sentence with no possibility of parole.
100 miles of deals along Highway 301 this weekend. The endless yard sale is back. It's starting today. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey has a preview of this massive event. We're right around the corner from Selma Middle School. This is one of the areas where vendors will be set up along 301, and the endless yard sale is now underway. Vendors started getting set up early this morning. The sale spans across 5 counties and more than 100 miles along US 301. This event is designed to promote economic activity and tourism here in North Carolina. You can buy antiques, collectibles, clothing, and more, all sourced from different groups like nonprofits, restaurants, and shops. Becky and Brandon Edwards drove 4 hours from Virginia today to take advantage of some of those bargains.
It's a bunch of sales all in one place. Instead of driving around looking for local sales, just come where they all are.
Yesterday when we were setting up, people from Florida, talked to someone from Georgia, so they're coming from all over. This is a very popular yard sale.
The sale is today and tomorrow from 7 until 5. And if you want a map of all of those vendor locations, just go to our website, WRAL.com. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Johnston County.
All right, please pay attention to this next story. The IRS is sending out an alert in case you filed your tax return for last year and still got an alert saying you owed money. There's some sort of issue where people who've already paid, either electronically or with a check, are getting this alert. For the people who only paid a portion of their tax reported, it's recommended you pay the remaining balance. But if you already paid through your bank, you don't have to do anything while the IRS investigates what's causing this error. Let's get a look at the stocks today. Kind of red across the board for the most part. Looking at the Dow right now, down 130. You know that the University of Michigan survey of consumers showed the consumer sentiment declined 65.6 in June, down from last month. Surely the investors are reacting to that news, and this Friday.
The hits keep coming for Boeing. Next at noon, hear how fake titanium made it into the company's planes and the Airbus, too.
Plus, new insight seems to point the finger at the FDA for the baby formula shortage in 2022, at least in some regard.
And we'll take you live out to Pinehurst right now. We are on day 2 of the U.S. Open. Jeff Hogan will join us in a bit for how it's feeling out there on the green.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.
Welcome back. You are looking live at Chapel Hill. Blue skies. It's hot out there. You're watching WRAL News, available on YouTube TV and the WRAL app on your TV or streaming device. The FAA is investigating whether fake or incorrect documents were used to verify the authenticity of titanium used in some recently manufactured Boeing jets. Titanium is an important component in the aerospace supply chain. It's used to make landing gears, blades, and turbine discs for the aircraft. This latest FAA investigation comes after a parts supplier found small holes in the material from corrosion.
Wells Fargo has fired more than a dozen employees for faking work. The bank reviewed claims that the employees were creating the impression of work. They did that by making it appear their computer keyboards were active. All of the Wells Fargo employees were in the bank's wealth and investment management unit, but it's unclear whether those people fired were faking work at home or in the office, or both. The driver of an 18-wheeler narrowly escaped a collision involving a train. Yeah, this is the video captured early Tuesday morning by a driver in Georgia. Oh, goodness, you see it right there. The horns blaring in the distance. You can even see a man jump from the cab moments later. Well, the video also shows the driver backing up, and then he runs over to check on the driver, who was miraculously unharmed. The train engineer and conductor say they tried to stop as soon as they could. They saw the truck on the tracks, but they just couldn't stop in time.
Shocking. I am so happy he's okay. My goodness. Well, many caregivers experienced the nationwide baby formula shortage of 2022. Although several factors helped trigger the crisis, a new audit is placing the lion's share of the blame on the Food and Drug Administration. Chanley Painter explains how long the FDA held on to vital information that contributed to the shortage.
The results of a new audit reveal failures in the Food and Drug Administration's response to concerns at the country's largest baby formula plant. The investigation by the Department of Health and Human Services Office of Inspector General found it took the FDA more than 15 months to forward an email from a whistleblower over conditions at an Abbott nutrition factory in Michigan.
The Office of Inspector General is an independent organization, completely independent of the FDA.
The email was sent to the FDA in February of 2021, describing alleged safety violations at the plant. But according to the report, that warning was, quote, inadvertently archived and wasn't found until June of 2022. 2 babies later died and several more were hospitalized because of a rare bacterial infection after drinking powdered formula made at the Abbott Nutrition Factory in Michigan. The FDA says it can't confirm Abbott's formulas caused those deaths and illnesses.
People have to be comfortable with the safety of powder infant formula.
That facility was then temporarily closed for several months back in February of 2022, with Abbott issuing a massive recall. The aftermath contributing to a nationwide formula shortage that year.
We need to have better reporting standards for the public to report to the problems, for the FDA to report its findings when things go wrong, making sure that the inspection process for factories is improved and handled better.
That was Chanley Painter reporting. FDA officials responding to the audit say they agree with the findings.
And we're back out here live at Pinehurst, and the tee time flip from earlier yesterday to today. Okay, we're keeping a close eye on all of our local golfers. The guys who went out late in the afternoon yesterday played in the morning this morning. So that flip kind of changes things up for the guys. Everybody gets the same conditions at some point, they hope. Anyway, take a look at some of the pictures we have of Akshay Bhatia right here, the Wake Forest product. He got out late yesterday, so he is on the course right now, and he was one of only 15 golfers to shoot under par yesterday, and like a lot of players, giving a couple of those shots back today. He's 2 over par right now, so he's even par for the championship. Still hanging tough, no worries, after 13 holes that he has played today. And as I bring you back out here live today, you'd have to make this your job because it's so hot today. If you're going to play golf, this is work for real. And I don't know, as I go to Amy Wilmington, the WRAL Severe Weather Center, I'll give you a quiz, Amy. What do you think? Can you recognize?
I know that. That's Tiger. I know
is?
Tiger.
Okay,
yeah.
All right.
He's like the one that I can recognize.
Easy, right?
Yeah.
Pretty easy one I gave you there.
Yeah, thank you for that. Very hot. I would definitely prefer a morning tee time on a day like today when highs are going to get into the mid-90s here in Pinehurst. Beautiful sunshine. It's gorgeous looking, but when you're out in it, it is very hot. Temperatures are in the upper 80s right now in Moore County, 87 degrees. The dew point at 64. So it is humid outside with temperatures in the 80s for everyone, but we do expect highs to climb into the 90s today. 90 in Raleigh and Durham, 88 in Southern Pines, 90 in Fayetteville. That's the heat index right now, what it feels like when you factor in the humidity. And then 94 in Southern Pines, 95 in Fayetteville, 94 in Raleigh and Durham. If we reach these numbers, this will be the hottest we've had so far this year. Some pretty hot temperatures, but we do have a cold front that's going to kind of cool things off a little bit over the weekend. Not much, but for Pinehurst, this is the forecast. 95 today, just a slim chance for a shower late this evening, more likely overnight tonight. Saturday, 92, a little less humid in the afternoon, the second part of the day. I think it's still going to be kind of muggy the first half of the day. And then Father's Day on Sunday, 91. It's a nice day. The humidity will be down on Sunday, but we definitely have some big heat for the next couple of days and some high humidity as well. This is the cold front that's going to move in overnight tonight into early Saturday. That's going to help to make it feel a little bit better over the weekend. It's also going to push this low pressure system that's pretty close to the North Carolina coast. It's going to help push that away from the North Carolina coast. So here's a look at Futurecast. The cold front on the way, a stray shower possible late this evening, but watch what happens as we get into the nighttime hours as the cold front approaches. A slightly better chance for rain. This is 2:30 in the morning, so this is mainly overnight that we'll have some of these spotty showers. And then I think by Saturday morning we're dry. The cold front still making its way through the area. That's why the drier air is just going to kind of lag a little bit. I think it's still going to be a little bit muggy, especially for the first half of the day tomorrow. And it's still hot too, with highs in the 90s for most of you. This is for tomorrow. If you're headed to the pool, a lot of sunshine. The UV index will be high. Our high gets up to around 90 tomorrow. Moving on to the tropics. If you are headed to the beach this weekend, pay close attention to the flags. If there's a red flag flying, don't get in the water. Today, the red flags are flying with high rip current risks from Cape Lookout to Ocracoke up to Hatteras. So there is a high rip current risk for at least part of the North Carolina coast today. Almost the rest of the coast under a moderate risk. A look at the forecast for the beaches tomorrow. Not bad. Beautiful weather. It's just going to be dangerous to get in the water in many locations, so be very, very careful. Sunday, same thing. We'll have a lot of sunshine. It's going to be beautiful at the beaches, but I still think we're going to have to deal with some dangerous rip currents on Sunday as well. Things will probably start to improve by the time we get to Monday if you're headed to the beach next week. Definitely hot today, still hot tomorrow, not as hot on Sunday, but we are going to stay very summer-like into next week with highs in the low 90s Monday through Thursday.
Wow. All right. Thank you, Amy. Coming up on WRAL News at 5 on Fox 50, inspectors found problems with bugs inside several local restaurants. We'll tell you where those bugs were contaminating food. That's coming up on 5 on your side's restaurant ratings.
And tonight at 7, back here on WRAL, there is a harmful trend going around social media in which influencers and celebrities are telling kids not to wear sunscreen. A local dermatologist debunks the false information. And have you ever worked with someone who always seems unhappy or stressed? Not you, Michelle. But a new survey reveals what coworkers think about people can never find a reason to smile at work. Plus,
really seeing it firsthand and having to deal with it is really when it became clear how big of an issue it is.
The incident that prompted an engineer to create a device to secure parking for disabled drivers and passengers.
Happening now in the WRAL Live Center, rather active morning for authorities in Goldsboro. Called to the 2400 block of Ash Street as a result of a suspicious package. With the help of Google Maps, giving you some perspective as to where we're talking about. It's not far from Stony Creek Park and other nearby neighborhoods. As a precaution, the immediate area was evacuated. Traffic was diverted. This happened just before 9 this morning. Now, several agencies responded, including the bomb squad from Seymour Johnson Air Force Base that deemed that package safe. Of course, authorities right now are trying to figure out exactly where that package came from. That investigation continues.
All right, thank you, Ken. The CDC is issuing a new warning about the availability of some ADHD medications. The Justice Department says 2 telehealth executives cooked up a $100 million scheme to distribute Adderall over the internet. Investigators say the pair arranged prescriptions of more than 40 million pills for drug seekers. This is the first time the DOJ criminal arrests related to prescriptions via a digital health company. And listen up if you've bought a summer skincare product that combined foundation with sunscreen. Las Vegas-based Suntegrity is voluntarily recalling batches of Impeccable Skin sunscreen foundation products after high levels of mold were found in some tubes. A customer detected a strong odor in their product and they alerted the company. The mold could cause potential allergic skin reactions and fungal infections on wounded or sunburned skin. Stop using the product and contact Suntegrity for refunds.
So we all know, or may have been, that one coworker who vents to colleagues about how stressed they are. Now, a new study suggests these people are perceived as less competent and unlikable. Researchers surveyed 2 groups using both real and fictional scenarios as examples. They found complaints about to-do lists and work stresses often made people feel like their coworkers didn't have control over their circumstances. Those surveys also felt that these coworkers seemed to be out of touch. LinkedIn is tapping into artificial intelligence to get you a new job, but you got to pay up. New AI-powered features can help users build tailored resumes for specific jobs and can even help draft a cover letter. The website will also help LinkedIn premium job seekers refine their search to ask the site to find jobs that fit specific requirements, salary, location, or remote work, stuff like that.
Heart-pounding moments in New York City after a man passes out on a subway platform and falls right onto the tracks. How one man's skill set played a role in the rescue.
And we're getting you a live look at Pinehurst right now. Look at that right there. Tiger Woods getting up there ready to tee there as he's on day 2 of the U.S. Open down in Pinehurst. We'll be back with Brett Neese as he has the eye of the Tiger, or shall I say, an eye out for Tiger. Jeff also joins us live with a look at today's leaderboard. And before we forget, here's a look at your winning lottery numbers.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your #1 source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
Pope Francis makes history today in Italy, becoming the first pontiff to address the group of comedians at their gathering.
Yeah, and we're talking about from debates over abortion to a speech urging caution around artificial intelligence. NBC's Gabe Gutierrez reports from Italy.
Today, President Biden, a devout Catholic, is set to hold a private meeting with a unique guest here at the G7 summit, Pope Francis. This is the first time a pontiff has ever attended this summit to speak to world leaders about his concerns over artificial intelligence. In his New Year's message this year, the Pope focused on how AI can be used for peace. His G7 visit also comes after he hosted more than 100 comedians at the Vatican, telling them you unite people because laughter is contagious. Yesterday here at the G7, President Biden announced new measures to send a strong message to Russia amid its ongoing war with Ukraine, a 10-year security agreement committing the U.S. to equip and train Ukraine's military, a $50 billion loan backed by interest from frozen Russian assets, and expanded sanctions against banks who do business with Russia. New this morning, Russian President Vladimir Putin is laying out for the first time certain conditions for possible peace talks with Ukraine. Now, today, the president is also speaking with world leaders about a host of other issues, including immigration, climate change, and how to keep China in check. After he wraps up the G7 summit here in Italy later today, President Biden is set to fly to L.A., where this weekend he'll be at a star-studded fundraiser with Julia Roberts, George Clooney, and former President Obama. Gabe Gutierrez, NBC News, Bari, Italy.
Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky also met with the Pope on the sidelines of the G7 summit. Zelensky wrote in a statement that his country appreciates the Vatican's participation in efforts aimed at bringing peace. This is especially the case regarding the return of Ukrainian children abducted by Russia.
For the last 6 hours, fans have been filing into Pinehurst to witness greatness. It is cut day, and more than 150 golfers are hoping to advance in the 124th U.S. Open.
Yeah, make or break it, but you can't fake it. WRAL's Jeff Hogan joins us live from Pinehurst #2. And Jeff, the first wave of golfers are well on their way, but a whole second wave is ready to tee off starting at, or actually a few minutes ago.
Yeah, we do. We have some folks who have finished already, and these have been long rounds of golf, mind you, U.S. Open and tough conditions out there. They've been 5-hour-plus rounds of golf. So the early wave, guys who teed up 6:45, they are wrapping up, okay? But the afternoon wave just getting started, and I really feel bad for them because it is hot out there. Let's get a look at the leaderboard right now. This is where we have things standing, and I want to point your attention to the man at the top because this is, in fact, a new shared lead right now because, as you see, Thomas Dietrich right there, 5 under par. He's along with Patrick Cantlay at that position. But the problem is Cantlay hasn't teed off yet. So he's got a long way to go to keep it at that number. And I want you to go all the way down to Hideki Matsuyama. He's 4 under on his day. That puts him at 2 under for the championship. And Rory McIlroy hanging in there tough. He only has 1 hole left to play. So we'll see how he finishes up. As I mentioned, it is expected to be the hottest day of this tournament week. And it's about the hottest part of the day almost right now. So we asked Brett Neese to go over to the range and stand out there in the sun and let us know what the players and the fans may be going through with all this. Brett?
Hey, Jeff. Yeah, we have a completely packed practice area right now because of who is behind me, none other than Tiger Woods, the 3-time U.S. Open champion. He has just stepped onto the range. He's hitting a couple of short irons first before he'll eventually move up to that driver. And he's just stepped over here, and the grandstands that are at the practice area completely filled in because everybody wants to get a glimpse of Tiger Woods. On the screen that they have that actually tracks some of the ball flights here at the range, that they've been flashing a sign that says it's going to be an extremely hot day, so drink plenty of water. They've been trying to remind fans all day, all week to completely drink as much water as possible. Tiger himself here on the range, you can see he's already sweating through this first polo that he's had on today. It is going to be a hot one for those players out there that, of course, they got to wear pants and a polo out there on the course, so definitely going to be difficult for them to make their way and navigate through this round of golf, especially here in the afternoon on this Friday second round. We talked to a couple of fans, though, that were out here earlier, and they said that they are just enjoying this entire week. Take a listen.
It's hot, but it's fun. We're all over the place. We've been all around the course, and it's really cool. I mean, it's a good time.
So yeah, Tiger Woods out here on the range alongside a number of other big-time players like Matt Fitzpatrick and a couple of other players like Lucas Glover. So it's definitely going to be an interesting afternoon round, Jeff, with these hot temperatures. We're going to continue to follow things. We're going to follow these big crowds. Tiger Woods always has big crowds that follow him, but here in the heat of the day, it's going to be especially important that these fans drink plenty of water and stay hydrated throughout the round. Jeff?
I'll take it from here, Brett. Thank you. WRAL is your home for the U.S. Open. Be sure to tune into WRAL for all the action from the first tee to the 18th green. Network coverage begins today with the second round. A lot happening there, too.
Absolutely. And Jeff Hogan is leading our coverage on WRAL live from Pinehurst #2. You can get all of our content on your phone, your tablet, and your TV.
The College World Series gets started today in Omaha, Nebraska. In the first game, UNC will take the field. They're going to play Virginia, and that game gets started at 2 this afternoon. NC State is also in the 8-team tournament. The Wolfpack will play their first game, that is tomorrow at 2 against Kentucky.
Good luck to both teams. Coming up, a new invention solving parking problems for people who use wheelchairs. We'll show you how it works.
And do aliens walk among us? The truth is out there. A new Harvard study says it's possible, kinda. We'll explain. And for news, traffic, and the weather of the day, make sure to download the WRAL News app and turn those notifications on too, will you?
Brand new video just into the WRAL Live Center of a fire at an auto shop in Johnston County. This is new video from the community of Willow Springs. This apparently broke out on Pea Ridge Road in Johnston County. Authorities say 2 men were seriously injured in this fire. Both were transported to UNC Burn Center in Chapel Hill for treatment. You can see a number of firefighters remain on the scene, and the fire now is under control. We're also hearing that a neighbor was cutting grass nearby and heard what sounded like an explosion before that fire erupted. Of course, firefighters say that they're working to put out hotspots at this point, and we're, of course, working to find out exactly how this fire started. We'll have an update on this story in our news starting at 4.
Certainly hope the people injured have a swift recovery. Thank you, Ken. An engineer in Minnesota is putting his degree to work by helping people living with disabilities. He came up with the idea after witnessing how his cousin couldn't lower the ramp she uses while in a handicapped parking spot. So he went to work building the spot saver in his own garage. So far, he has about 200 on back order and has heard from people as far away as Australia and the UK. It retails online for $450.
Caught on camera, a race against time as 2 men jump in to rescue a man off the subway tracks in New York. Take a look at this video. 2 men rush to his aid after watching the man collapse and fall off the platform. One of the men came just inches from danger himself by nearly touching the 3rd rail, which carries enough electricity to kill.
I wasn't thinking about it at all, to be honest. And then somebody informed me about it later on that day, and I felt really stupid.
Wow. Get this. The man who you just heard from speaking is a professional rock climber out of Las Vegas. He just so happened to be visiting his friends in New York and says he didn't even know about the dangers of the 3rd rail.
I was seriously watching that the entire time going, please don't touch that. Please don't touch that.
Wow.
Oh, boy. Well, now he knows. Good for him for helping out. Tomorrow, cities across the nation will host events to observe Juneteenth. The federal holiday commemorates June 19th, 1865, the day that enslaved people in Texas learned they were free 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation was made. The capital city Juneteenth celebration is happening tomorrow. That is at Harvey Hill at Dix Park. It's from 1 to 6 p.m. There will be entertainment, food, vendors, and family. Oh, yeah, and WRAL's Ken Smith and Lena Tillett, they're emceeing this year's event, and WRAL is an official media partner. And don't forget to bring your family to downtown Raleigh this weekend as the Raleigh Retro Gamers Summer Expo is happening at Moore Square from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. This is video from a previous event. Food trucks, games, and live music will be available for your family to enjoy tomorrow. Plus, there will be more than 80 vendors, and I'll be emceeing a cosplay contest. Still trying to decide if I want to cosplay. It's supposed to be pretty hot out there. The event organizers will also be taking donations virtually for Duke Children's Hospital. So there's this recently published paper that suggests aliens could be living among us, maybe even delivering the news to you right now. Hear why the researchers from Harvard behind it believe it deserves some attention.
Certainly does. Plus, the people in front of the cameras at the U.S. Open are getting much deserved attention, but we're going to introduce you to someone working behind the scenes, getting firsthand experience working for the USGA. It is day 2 of the U.S. Open, and organizers expect 250,000 people from around the world to attend. There are so many ways to get involved at the U.S. Open, even if you're not a pro golfer.
Jeff Hogan spoke to a North Carolina college student about her role at the USGA tournament.
There are so many different pathways to Pinehurst, if you will. You could qualify as a player or be that person's caddy, or you could volunteer, or you could be an intern, which is what Jessica McCann did. Jessica, a rising senior, UNC Greensboro, right, but from Red Springs,
Yes.
just outside Fayetteville.
Yes.
Good
I'm
deal.
from a small town, so it's a great opportunity to have this experience here for sure. Yes.
Information systems and supply chain management.
Yes.
How does that translate to golf?
Right. So I'm not really from a big town, so just getting to know more about the behind the scenes of golf, just seeing how the golf clubs are built, how golf ball is made, all of that just transpires to something I'm very interested in. And with information systems supply chain, I just like seeing how one product gets to the next part, especially with the technology side. That's a really big thing for me. And my concentration is actually in cybersecurity. So just making sure how different things aren't getting hacked, because a lot of people pay big money for this event. So it's just like you have to make sure that everything is precise, everything is on track and that. So, yeah.
And can you hit a golf ball?
I can hit a golf ball, actually. With this internship, we went to Golf Pride, and I hit a couple swings, got a few yards, so I was definitely proud of myself. A lot of the different interns said, "You're a natural," and I was like, oh, thank you.
You made some connections.
Yes, I did. So many great people down along. Like, I'm just learning so much, just not from a lot of the CEOs and the presidents and people like in Deloitte, Lexus, those big things. I'm learning so much from the people beside me, because they know so much about the game, and just learning so much about the game. It's just so amazing. So it's a great opportunity for sure.
And I know you don't take it for granted. That
Of
is for sure.
course,
Hey, you made the cut in this interview, right? Just like you made the cut in the interview, because the USGA had over 300 applicants for this. Jessica McCahan makes the cut for sure. Back to you.
Oh, Jessica is so awesome. We love it. Well, tomorrow, the U.S. Olympic swimming trials will get underway in Indianapolis. Over 730 swimmers, some from right here in the Triangle. They're competing for a spot on the 2024 Olympic team. The first of 9 days of races is tomorrow. And Olympic legend Katie Ledecky will race Saturday in a venue normally home to the Indianapolis Colts. Only 2 swimmers will qualify in each of the 28 races. Qualifying heats start tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock. It'll air on Peacock, and primetime coverage will continue tomorrow night at 8 o'clock right here on WRAL.
All right, we want to get over to Amy Wilmoth right now. See, I'm jealous right now. Look, I have to look at that. You're making us look at that. We have to be right here right now.
I know. We do love it when our viewers send us photos, especially ones like this that can make us all envy their location. This is a look at Oak Island at the sunset yesterday. Beautiful. Sent in from Mallory. And you can send us your picture. Just go to WRAL.com, search Weather Watchers, and we'll show some of your beautiful pictures on TV. This is another beach picture. This is Carolina Beach, 88 degrees with sunshine. A lot of people enjoying the beach. Not a bunch of them in the water. There is a moderate rip current risk at Carolina Beach, and then there's a high rip current risk from Hatteras down to Cape Lookout today. And I would expect this to look fairly similar into tomorrow and even into Sunday. So if you're headed to the beaches, just be careful getting into the water and don't get in if you see the red flags flying. It's all because of this low pressure system. It's about 120 miles off the coast of North Carolina right now. Models do take it to the north and east and pull it away from us, but it will still have those impacts with rough surf and dangerous rip currents through the weekend. We also are monitoring this cold front that's going to arrive very early Saturday morning. It will eventually bring a drop in our dew point over the weekend. More on that in a moment. I want to show you the model plots just to prove to you that we don't expect this to have direct impacts on the North Carolina coast, just those indirect impacts of the rough surf and the dangerous rip currents. All models pull it away from us, which is good. This is a live picture of Durham. It looks like they're having some kind of baseball camp or something out here. It is definitely hot. If you are outside, you've got to hydrate today. It's probably going to be the hottest day so far this year. Right now in Durham, it's 87. The heat index is what it feels like, 90. Same thing in Raleigh. In Fayetteville, it feels like 90. It feels like 88 in Southern Pines. So it's a hot day today. Maybe you want to head to the pool now that the kids are out of school. It's a nice day to do it. Mostly sunny. It is going to be hot, and make sure you wear plenty of sunscreen. The UV index is high, but we're expecting high temperatures in the mid-90s this afternoon. It stays very warm through the evening. We'll be in the 80s through 10 o'clock and still near 80 at 11 o'clock. And notice that 20% chance for rain. With that cold front approaching, we can't rule out an isolated shower late this evening and overnight tonight. Tomorrow, maybe you want to head to a splash pad to cool off. It's still going to be hot despite the cold front moving through. And it's still going to be muggy, especially the first half of the day. I think we'll see a decrease in the dew point the second half of the day, but it's still hot with a high of 90. Sunday is Father's Day. Maybe he just wants to relax in the hammock outdoors. It won't be as hot, but still very warm. The humidity will be down. It's dry with a lot of sunshine. Our high up to 89 for Father's Day on Sunday. So nice and hot today. It's staying pretty quiet, but very steamy. 90 Saturday, 89 Sunday, and it will still feel like summertime through next week with high temperatures in the low 90s Monday through Thursday. We'll have more news right after the break. As we wrap things up, here's a look at a few of the headlines we're following today.
It is day 2, round 2 at the 124th U.S. Open at Pinehurst. Fans have been showing up for hours, and they're enduring the heat and the humidity to catch a glimpse of some of the best golfers that you're ever going to see. WRAL is your home for the U.S. Open. Be sure to tune into WRAL for all the action from the first tee to the 18th green. Network coverage began today with the second round.
And a large number of police officers investigated a scene on Dandridge Drive in Fayetteville for hours. This is video from the WRAL breaking news tracker. Police arrived on scene in response to a shooting call around 12:30 this morning. We're trying to learn more about what happened there.
A Sampson County man will spend the rest of his life in prison for murdering a 20-year-old man back in 2018. The jury found LaJanja Carr guilty of murdering Jamaris Pridgeon. Pridgeon's car was found in the woods on CC Road and Harrells. After a 12-hour search, deputies found his body in a shallow grave. Pridgeon died of a gunshot wound to the chest. A new paper from Harvard researchers suggests there are aliens among us disguised as humans. This is an actual thing, it's out there, but the 3 researchers acknowledge their hypotheses are likely false. But given reports from people seeing what they think are aliens and fast-moving objects, the researchers argue this is worth investigating. The researchers discussed 4 theories of how aliens may be living alongside us or underground. One theory even says aliens exist in a technologically advanced non-human civilization that evolved on Earth in secret. The research paper has not been peer-reviewed, but I have looked through it. 16 pages, several pages of resources there, Michelle. It's a fascinating read.
All right. Well, this summer, even your fur baby